Hello, welcome to FightCore USA.
What's up, guys? Today, we're talking about one of the best frontline defenses in all of mixed martial arts. And that is the guillotine choke. When your opponent shoots in for a takedown, whether it's a single leg or a double leg, they're always going to expose their neck. And the more experience they have, the tighter they'll be able to keep that neck tucked away. But even the best in the world leave themselves open sometimes. And when they do, you have to be ready to capitalize on that. And that's exactly what the guillotine choke is designed to do. Now, the guillotine is probably one of the highest percentage submissions in all of MMA. It's one of those things where if you get it locked in tight, there's really no escaping it. Guys like to say that you can escape a rear naked, but let's be real. When somebody locks that thing in tight, you better tap or just wait for the finish. There's no escaping it. So when a guy shoots in for a takedown, the most obvious thing to do is try and stuff that shot and go after him with some sort of counterattack. That could be a punch, that could be an elbow, that could be a knee. But if he does expose that neck, even for the briefest of moments, you want to be ready to capitalize on that. And the way that you do that is by shooting for a single leg and reaching over and grabbing that neck. No, obviously I'm not going to do this from the standing position. Because if you're standing, then he's going to see you coming. He's going to be ready for it. You don't want to give him any time to react, so you actually want to shoot first and then reach over and grab that neck. Now, the reason why you're reaching over and grabbing that neck is because when he takes you down, he's going to try and gouge out your eyes. And if you don't have your hands covering your face, then he's going to destroy your eyes. So that's why you reach over and grab that neck first. And then as soon as you feel his hands coming, you drop those hands down and cover your face. That way, now you've got a hold of his neck. You're squeezing everything you can out of it. And the goal here is to get as much pressure as humanly possible on that carotid artery that runs along the side of his neck. Because once you cut off the blood flow to his brain, he is going to sleep. Now, if he doesn't sleep right away, you still want to keep that pressure on, because the longer you keep that pressure on, the more likely it is that he is going to fall asleep. Now, as you're doing this, you want to keep your head close to his so that if he gouges out your eye, at least you don't get blinded. Maybe you'll get a little scratch or something, but at least you won't be blinded. Because, remember, if you get blinded in this situation, the fight is over. Even if you don't tap, he's gonna keep smashing until your eyes are absolutely destroyed. So you have to protect yourself first and foremost. Now, as this fight goes on, the idea is to keep as much pressure as possible on that carotid artery until he passes out. Now, if he does pass out, you still want to keep that pressure on, because you do not know how long it is going to take for the referee to jump in and stop the fight. So you want to keep squeezing until the referee steps in and pulls you off. And that's the goal of the guillotine choke. It is one of the highest percentage submissions in all of MMA, because when you get it locked in tight, there's really no escaping it. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, man, I think I could submit the best guys in the world with this move. Well, guess what? It happens in real life all the time. Let me show you one of my favorite examples of this, which is Demian Maia versus Ryan Bader. Now, this is a perfect example because Demian Maia is one of the best grapplers in the world. Very experienced, and even he gets caught sometimes. So watch what happens here. He shoots in for a single leg, and look at this right here. Notice how he leaves that neck completely open. Now, if Ryan Bader wasn't such a reckless, wild man, he would have jumped on this opportunity, but he doesn't. Instead, he tries to push Demian off, and Demian ends up getting the take. But let us take a look at another angle of this so that you can see how wide open that neck was. I mean, this is absolute gold right here. Demian could have easily reached over, grabbed that neck, squeezed tight, and ended the fight right here. But he didn't. Instead, he ends up giving up a takedown and almost losing the fight. Now, let's take a look at another example. This is Anthony Smith versus Johnny Walker. Again, we see a guy shooting in for a takedown and leaving that neck wide open. And if you look at this angle, I mean, there's just nothing. You know, Johnny Walker is a big, tall, lanky guy. He has nothing on his neck. And if you look at this angle, it's just complete gold. And if Anthony Smith had any sort of submission skill, he would have jumped on this and tried to lock in the guillotine. But instead, he just lets Johnny get back to his feet. And of course, Johnny comes back and knocks him out in the next round. Let's take a look at one last example of this. This is Israel Adesanya versus Marvin, but we see Marvin shooting in for a takedown. And guess what? He leaves his neck open, just like every other one. It doesn't matter how good you are. Sometimes you're gonna leave that neck open. You see, Israel here, he actually doesn't go for the guillotine. He kind of hesitates for a second. If he would have gone for it at this point, I think he would have had it. But instead, he waits a little bit too long, and Marvin is able to recover and get back into the fight. But this is just another example of how these guys leave their necks open all the time. So anytime somebody shoots in for a takedown, you have to be ready to capitalize on that opportunity. And if you get that guillotine locked in tight, it doesn't matter who you are. You're going to sleep. And that's why it's called the guillotine. If you guys enjoyed this video, check out the next one. Thanks for watching.
Okay guys, thank you for watching my videos.